Get started making money on eBay with very little budget is called drop shipping. Now, people who have heard the terms drop shipping, I want to point out how it works in the eBay scenario. Essentially, you get to pre-sell an item before you paid for it. You sell the item, you make your profit, and only then do you purchase it off the wholesaler at the wholesale price. Then, they will actually send it directly to your customer for you. So what that means is you don't have to outlay money before you've made a profit. You don't have to hold any stock. You don't have to fill your cupboard up or your garage with stock. And in fact, you don't even have to ship it out because they'll do all that for you. Here's a great example. This guy, his name's Steve Barry. Steve sells musical instruments on eBay. His whole niche is musical instruments. He sells the item. Once he sold the item, then made the money, then he gets the wholesaler to ship it out directly for him. Who thinks that's a pretty cool way of making money? Yeah. Yes. Now, he does about $200,000 a month in turnover. What would his profits be likely on a business like that?
Okay, with drop shipping, the profit margins are generally, can't get that word out, can I? 10 to 15% is normal. Sometimes 20% depending on what you're selling. There's a couple of things with drop shipping. You do not touch or handle the product at all or hold it or anything like that. However, if you're the sort of person who loves to sit in front of a computer and just answer questions, perfect business for you. You don't need any money to start. The downside to drop shipping, and I'm going to give you the good, the bad, the ugly, is that okay with you guys? Yep. Is that you don't have as much control, and sometimes you may sell products and the supplier has run out. Okay, and that's pretty normal with drop shipping, but all you've got to do is just refund the money to the people and they genuinely understand. There are other ways you can do your own drop shipping, which Matt's going to explain in a minute, that I like better. But I mean, having said that, Steve Barry, 200 grand a month, even if he did 10%, that's 20,000 a month sitting in front of a computer. Would anyone be happy with that? This guy probably doesn't even know anything about music. The other thing that I'd like you to take away from this is this. Stick to a category, dominate the niche, automate it. Okay? Choose a category, dominate, automate, sell it if you want. It is an asset worth a lot of money because of the time-rich factor. We'll explain more about that as we go along.
Now, Jeff and Jenny, they do a slightly different variation of the drop shipping scenario. The difference that they have, they live in Canberra, but all their stock is held in Sydney and Melbourne. They don't hold any of their stock, but they did purchase it. That's the slight difference. They own the stock, but they still have an outsourced company who ships it out on their behalf. You saw in the video how we had the warehouse. Everyone remember the warehouse? Yeah. We don't have that any longer. All our stock is outsourced to another company. We don't do any of the shipping anymore, so it really makes it a lot more hands-off and a lot more free for you if you don't want to go down the process of warehouses and leases and all that sort of stuff, or that can be outsourced as well. See, when we first started on eBay 5 years ago, it was still quite a growing industry here in Australia, and there weren't people that did that. Now there's a number of decent people that can help looking after that sort of process for you. These guys here, $15,000 a month profit just from Australia, and they're in the process now of setting up and replicating the exact business they have here in the States and the UK.
And can I just add one thing? If you become your own dropshipping business, these guys import, somebody else fulfills it. Are you with me? Yep. But their profit margin would be very high, probably around about the 30%, 30 to 35%. So much sexier style of business. You have way more control. You never run out of stock. I actually really like this model. I think this is one of the best models. But you know, you can start off drop shipping other people's stuff and then you can grow into this. Because don't forget, Sydney, this is about making our first couple of $100 and then growing it up to $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000.